start by doing a grand welcome. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Are you ready to optimize your business or work company online? Are you ready? If you're excited to be here tonight, let me get some yeses. Are you ready? Are you fired up? Are you that person who's saying, I want to make the difference? I want to make a difference at work. I want to make a difference for my business. Let me get a little yeses. I see a great yes from Loretta. Thank you. Very fired up. Amazing. Let me get more engagements. Yes from Belly May. Thank you so much. Let's get those engagements coming up into the chat box. Yes from Clarence. Thank you so much. Yeses, yeses, yeses. Great. Let's get engaged. By the end of this session, some of the people will be the most engaging, may get an extra bonus from the team. Great to see Janet say so ready. Yes from Grace. Awesome. So we are ready to get started with tonight and be the change, you know, the change that we want to see in our corporations, doing our own business, or even when you're just starting a business. This is to a place for you to be able to have access to information that is guaranteed to help you become better. We believe this is going to help you one way or another, and we look forward to you being able to learn and benefit from what we have prepared for you. Moving on, a bit about me. It would be quite odd if we got started and had this conversation and you didn't know who is actually speaking to you. So I have quite a humble resume. I'm not going to go through it for too long. So my name's Mapalo Lukashi, and I'm the current CEO of Make Live International. And I am an author of 7 books on business as of today. I'm also a certified ILO SIYB trainer. And as, let's hope my audio is too audible. And as Make Live, we are also certified as a business development service provider for the ILO SIYB program. I'm also the head of online communications at Inspired Dreams. I'm the head visionary pioneer for the ICD Entrepreneurs Mentorship Program. I'm also the chairperson for the Inspired Leaders Program and a Google Android developer participant in the 2020 RAN. And some of the awards that I can just mention, one is we participated in a SADC Innovation Challenge and we were ranking first in Zambia in our thematic region. So that being said, we're going to have time to have conversation, and we're going to be able to build up on a lot of what we are discussing in this session tonight. And feel free to be engaged. Feel free to be all in this session. Feel free to take time to utilize the chat box to actually engage. We're going to have a special time for question and Q&A. Awesome. So what we're going to cover in these 3 days, I know we've already sent this to you, but I feel it's great for us to be able to run you through it one more time. So today we are looking at positioning, and our core focusing with positioning is so that you can be more visible and aware. You may have more visibility as a business online and create awareness, and really focusing on how you can do this and gain organic reach. Then day 2, we're going to zero in on marketing, and the goal is for how you generate interest online. We're talking about traffic generation and how you build up your funnels. In day 3, so it's day 3 now, being closing deals online. We're looking at selling, and we're going to run you through how you actually go ahead and make sales online. So these are some of the tools we believe by now you've had access to. They were sent to the email, to your email by the team. So we've got the go-to-market box, the quick e-guide, and this particular e-guide helps you be able to identify 15 qualities of a high sales product, as well as gives you some templates on how you can get into market. So there's different strategies like the channel strategy, your product strategy, your market strategy that help you position yourself. So if you're a person that has been building a product, whether it's a physical product, a service, or it's a digital product, this book is going to go a long way to be able to help you optimize on getting the benefit from your product and making sure that when you go into the market, regardless of how competitive it is, you will be better positioned to monetize from it all. So that's one of the things that you get, and hopefully you've received. If you've not received it, be sure to reach us and our team will make sure that you receive your copy. Improve your business. This is the marketing module. It's a very thorough book. Those of you who had a chance to have an opportunity to be able to scan through it, possibly if you received it earlier yesterday, you might have even had a chance to study it through. This is going to be a very important manual as we run through the IYB segment of this particular training. Now, SIYB, like we mentioned during the free webinar, is a very popular program. This program is popular around the world. It's the largest management training program that is out there in the world. It's popular even in Zambia with governments. There's been a few trainings that have happened within ministries right here and have involved the SIYB component. And your benefit of being part of this is that this particular Improve Your Business module is standard for businesses that are in operation, and the goal really is to improve your business operations. So in this particular 3-day training, we are solely focusing on marketing. There are different components to this that we'll be glad to be able to update you when we run some of them in future. But tonight we want to focus on marketing because we feel and have assessed and researched the market that this is what's very relevant. And as one of our values at MakeLife, we look to ensure that we offer things that are relevant and valuable, because we do not believe in being able to treat problems that do not exist. We want to ensure that when we treat a problem, it's the problem that you need solved and resolved. So these are many tools that you should have. And with that covered, allow us to get into the introduction of this particular training. So one thing that we need to know is that it's a long way to the economic new normal. And as a particular participant in this particular program, you obviously know that what's going on out there right now is that there's been the COVID-19 pandemic that has put the entire world at more of a standstill. And because of that, there is now the new normal term that has gone out there. And with that going out there, you find businesses have been disrupted. There's no more face-to-face engagement with clients. Business models are being changed and new models are coming up. So now with all this happening, there's been an emerging competitive and crowded world market online, because people keep echoing on social media platforms and different platforms to say, take your business online, take your business online. But in as much as that sounds like it's a solution that has been spoken and put out there, the truth of the matter is that it's a different ballgame when you get out there. You realize that you start pushing your ads, you start putting ads on Facebook, but you're not getting the returns that you hope for. And probably you're even wondering, am I going to ever monetize from being online? Your sales are not picking up. You have not yet seen any particular interest coming to your program. So now that becomes a question of concern for you and the business that you're running, the company you're working for. So now you want to make sure that you position yourself, and not just position yourself anyhow. You want to position yourself in a way that you have the highest level of optimization. By optimization, we mean how you get the largest value you can possibly get from any online presence that you own. So it's very key. And once more, congratulations for being here, because this meeting is going to go a long way in helping you prepare so that you are not at a disadvantage. So whether you are in your own business, whether you do physical products, whatever business you are in, this is for you. So now e-commerce offers a great opportunity. Nonetheless, those that can work it right are the ones that will really benefit from it. So in as much as e-commerce offers this great opportunity, as it's a large market that's opened up, you need to be able to work it right. And tonight, we're going to start with building that foundation with positioning on how you work it right online. So we're going to get started with getting into the IYB marketing segment. So for the first hour, like I said, we're going to look into a lot of IYB, and we're going to ask that you keep time to be able to ensure that we optimize with all the time that we have, even for the future meetings tomorrow and Friday. And we're going to ask that you take time in your free time to go through the IYB marketing manual. So today we're going to cover mostly chapter 2. And I'm going to be able to refer back and forth as we run this session into that particular manual. With that said, let us get into the session. If you're ready to get into the session, go ahead and type in ready in the chat box so that we can see you, the team can see you in the chat box. Great, let's go ahead and see those great comments coming in. Also great, I see ready from Chishimba. Thank you, Chishimba. Great. Ready pouring in, ready from Douglas. Great. Awesome. Let's keep those coming in. It's great to know that I'm audible enough and that you're getting me as I speak. So positioning is what we're looking at tonight. And we're going to center both sections, and this is positioning IYB marketing. Awesome. So in a competitive, crowded world market, it's the well-positioned brands that stand out. This is a quote by Bernard Kelvin Clive, and he says that in a competitive, crowded world market, it's the well-positioned brands that stand out. How many of us want to stand out? How many of us want to be different? We want our products to stand out. We want our firm to stand out. We want our brands to stand out. How many of us want that standing out there? Great to see people saying me, because that's why we're here tonight. We want to stand out. We have seen that there's a crowded world market. I mean, with globalization, we are not competing only in a local space. The market has gone online. It means we are competing with the whole world at large. Today, when you go to Facebook, you're going to see people advertising to you from the States, from Canada, from UK, I mean, even from China. I remember attending a webinar for someone who was in the Philippines, and you see the world market has been connected. So now more than ever, you want to ensure that you position your brand in a very competitive way. And what we are sharing to you today is quality information that helps you position yourself with worldwide brands. So by the end of this session that we are carrying out now, you should be able to position your product. So whether it's a product for your firm, your product as a company, or a product that you have in ideation, you should be able to have the know-how of how you are able to position that. Remember, the brand that positions itself is the brand that stands out. And positioning is the first step to you being able to have full online optimization. With that said, let's make progress. So I want to pose a question, and those of you who would like to answer, I'm going to ask you to raise your hand. So based on your observation, okay, and your own experience in marketing your business, please explain what marketing means to you. So you can raise your hand, you can be, and I'll be able to unmute you from my end. The team will be able to help us do that. So kindly just raise your hand. Anyone who wants to give it a go from your observation, what, and your own experience. Is there anybody who would like to give this a go? Looking to unmute somebody. Let's be interactive. We are going to be together for 3 days, 3 evenings. Anyone who's going to give it a try based on your observations? Great, I see Tinashe's hand up. So we'll just be unmuting you. So I've sent a request to unmute yourself. So Tinashe, you can go ahead if you.
Okay. I think marketing has to do with letting people know about your product and the benefits of your product.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Getting people to know about your product and the benefit of your product. Thank you so much for that, Tinashe. I'm also going to get Loretta's. So Loretta, I've requested that you can unmute yourself and be able to give us your response. What is marketing?
Hi, Mapalo. I think on my end, I would, how I see it, I feel marketing is the process in which a seller or a company or a firm satisfies the needs and wants of a particular audience, of a particular consumer group through an exchange process. Yeah.
Wow, great. Thank you so much, Loretta, for that as well. Great answers coming in tonight from Loretta and Tinashe. They've already created for us this particular foundation. So I believe one way or another, we have all had an encounter with marketing. So whether you know you're doing it or you didn't know you were doing it, for the most part, we've all had to market something at one point or another. You may have had to market a particular service to a friend, a product, or you didn't even know that you are participating in marketing when you recommended a friend to be able to have or partake in a particular product that you have been using yourself. So now we're going to define marketing this way. So marketing is how you position your product to your customer in such a way that you are differentiated from your competitor in order to make a profit. So that's what marketing is. So how you position that particular product, how you bring it before your potential customer in a way that differentiates you from your competitor, because differentiation is the key reason why we market, among other things, in such a way that you have a profit. So like Loretta put it, at the end of the day, you want to be able to return an income, make a sale at the end of the day. And Tinashe as well echoed it as well. So that's really the base of marketing. And the goal of marketing, if there's one particular goal that marketing has, is to be able to generate interest. That's the goal of marketing. And the ultimate purpose is so that you can be able to build customer loyalty over time. So the goal is to generate interest. The ultimate purpose is to build customer loyalty over time because you want your brand to be built. That being said, I want to ask another question. So now what is positioning? So I'm going to look at my definition according to the IYB manual. And positioning refers to the image you would like the customer to have about your product. So let me explain this a bit more. It means that when you talk about position in your business, what should be going into your mind is what image comes to my customer's mind about my product. Do they think of your product as the go-to place for the best type of tea? Or like in an example we're going to look at when we go into the menu, you're going to see how Sawadi is positioned as the particular person that offers Thai food. So what's the image of your product? When you talk about a place like PricewaterhouseCoopers, or a place like, let me give another example, Madison, you probably think insurance. PricewaterhouseCoopers, what comes to your mind probably is accounts. So now what image do you place in your customer's mind when they hear your product? What do you want them to think about? When you hear Hungry Lion, probably you're going to think of a packet of fries and chicken. You're going to put, in their mind, you're going to project a fast food chain. So you know how you are positioned based by what comes to your customers' minds when they're asked. When you hear iPhone, okay, you're going to think about, also when you hear Apple, for example, or the iPhone, you're really going to think about that particular phone that is optimized in such a way that it has got signature elements, it's got certain key functionalities that are unique to itself. So they position themselves as the Mac OS full hands suppliers, providers. So you want to ensure that from today, you are positioned in such a way that people can know exactly what you offer. When they say bake mix, for example, like I know someone here is doing that, what comes to their mind? What image are you projecting in your customer's mind? If your customers do not have a clear projection, then you have not yet positioned yourself in the sweet spot that you want to be for you to optimize your positioning. When you talk about brands that are out there, there's always that image that must come to your mind first, and that is your positioning in the market. I'm going to get into this a bit more so that you can understand positioning better as we go through the menu together. So there are 3 criteria required for a good position of a product. So for you to have the right image in the mind of your customer, there are 3 criteria required. And at the end of this session, you should be able to check yourself against these 3 criteria and see whether you are able to build it in such a way that these 3 criteria will stand out. So number 1 is that you need to respond to a need that customers value highly. Okay, you need to respond. When you talk about Lusaka water and sewerage, people value water. They value their sewer systems. I happen to be an engineer by profession, and one of the things we do cover is we know how to set up manholes in different places. We look at how there is a gradient to ensure that the positioning is the right fitting for the neighborhood's particular terrain. Now, with that said, you realize that in marketing as well, you need to make sure that the product is being able to respond to something that a customer values highly. That's one of the things you should be able to check across your product, your service, whether it's digital or not. The second thing is you must be able to differentiate your product from your competitor. True positioning makes you be set apart. With Hungry Lion, furthermore on the positioning is that you're going to think about largest pieces, because that's how they position themselves. At any given time, they promise you to say that you're going to be assured a large piece of chicken. That is their positioning. That's how they differentiate themselves from other competitors. Large fries, large chicken. And that's really, especially the chicken part, because they have positioned themselves that, and when you go to them, you are expecting that you're going to get that from them that you might not get elsewhere. Probably if you go to a competitor brand, you may get a smaller wing, a smaller back, and whatnot. The third thing is make sure that you can deliver, okay? Make sure that you can deliver what you promise. Because remember, you're meeting a customer's need, you're responding to that customer's value that they really want. So you need to make sure that you can deliver. And that's really what enables you to be rightfully positioned. These 3 criteria you must always check across your product. So I want you to be able to know where you are now. And after you've gone through this 3-day training, when you start reviewing this particular criteria, you should be able to see improvement when you implement what we're teaching you today. Moving on. There are 3 steps to follow to position your product service. So we've shown you the criteria for your positioning. That's the criteria. You need to meet that value. You know, you need to be able to do something beyond your competitor. But now for you to attain that, these are the 3 steps we're going to look at. And this really sums our segment here in IYB. By the end of this session, if you can be able to do these 3 steps, your product will be better positioned. Your service will be better positioned. The first thing is you need to learn about both your potential customers and the competition. The second thing is segment the market and select your target customers. And the third thing is you need to identify the position of your good or service. So let me run through this in the way they connect. So when you learn about both your potential customers and the competition, you carry out a market research. It gives you the information you need to work with. And then when you get that information, you need to segment the market. What segmenting means, it means that you partition them into their differences. That's segmenting the market. So you've studied the entire market, then now you segment it. You see the different type of customer personas that are available for you to meet your product. But then when you do that now, you now select your target customers. Your target customers are the particular segment that you want to take on and say, these are the people I'm going to meet the need for. And that's what you stick to. And then you identify the position of your good or service. So when you've done that, then now you can identify that sweet spot, that image that's going to be in the mind of your customers. So let's move on as time is flying as well. So the first step, responding to a need that customers value highly. So how do you respond to a need that customers value highly? So you can learn more about your customers and competitors through that market research. So when you are able to conduct that research on your customers, you will then be able to see how you can add the value that your customers require. So we're going to get into page 10 of the IYB manual, the marketing manual. And I want us to do this because I need you to ensure that after these sessions, you find time to go through these notes. This program is set to go hand in hand with the manual that we sent you. It will not be a full experience if you only come to the classes and don't take time to interact with these slides. So I'm about to change my screen now, and I'm going to share with you another screen, and we get into the IYB manual to look at this. Awesome. I hope we're all able to see the screen being loaded. So this is page 10 of the IYB manual. And the first step to you being able to build your positioning is learn about your customers and competitors. So I'm not going to read through all the text, but I'm going to be able to pick in key elements. The first one being this one here. You should be asking yourself, what kind of information? Apologies for that. Let me just make sure it's on the right. So this particular point, what kind of information should you find out about potential customers and the competition? So for your customers, this is the information that you want to find out. Number one, you want to find out to which different kinds of customers I'm trying to sell. So what different types are there? Are there people that are working class? Are there people that are students? Are there people that have businesses? So who are your customers? What type or different kinds of customers are there? We're going to look at an example, so I'm going to cruise through this. And you have this manual so you can take time to slowly go through this on your own pace. So what are the different kinds of customers who will buy my product? You need to ask those questions. What product do they want? So for example, if you're selling smartphones, so what product do they want? They want smartphones, yes. Why do they want it? Do they want it because they love the cameras, or do they love it because they want to be able to be updated with the latest technologies or innovation? So those are the questions you'll be asking yourself. So what product do they want? What price are they willing to pay? Pricing tends to be a big challenge where marketing is concerned, because sometimes your customers, potential customers may be interested, but the pricing may be wrong. So they may love your product, it's what they want, but they're not willing to pay because it exceeds their income bracket. So you need to know your customers' ability to pay and with their willingness. Where are the customers and where do they usually purchase products from? when you look at the marketing mix that we're going to look at tomorrow, when we look at IYB, the marketing segment of it, we're going to look at the marketing mix. And one of the 7 things in the marketing mix is placement or place. This is where they can purchase your products from. So tomorrow we're going to look at that in detail. Then you have to ask yourself, how often do they buy my type of product and in what quantity? So if you want to get into the clothing industry, ask yourself, how often do they buy my tape? You know, and in what quantity? Because that's going to give you a better understanding of how big your market is and how much each particular customer is going to be able to bring in as revenue should you be able to acquire them. Are they satisfied with the product they're currently buying? And are they happy about the manner in which they are treated when they make the purchases? So this will help you be able to see the gaps, the loopholes, because if they're not satisfied with the product or the way they are currently buying, remember there's a process, or they're not really satisfied with the product that's out there. So when you implement your product, you may be offering a better process to buy it. Maybe you have an on-demand model where people can buy through your app and you deliver it to their doorstep, because the people are frustrated with the longer durations that it takes for them to actually go be in queue and whatnot. So this helps you begin to understand. The examples in this manual that will help you get into more detail. Ask yourself, are they looking for any specific function or additional service? Sometimes your entire product may be built around adding an additional service that's not being provided, and that's the gap that you find. Or is it a specific function that other people in the market do not have? And when you're asking about your competitors, you ask, who are the competitors that are selling a product similar to mine? How good are they? You need to understand that, because marketing, remember, it's how you differentiate yourself from your competitors. You are not successful in marketing if between you and your competitors there is no difference that people can see. They must be able to see your unique advantage. They must be able to see why you are uniquely placed to be different. How is their product delivered to the customers? How do customers perceive the product of my competitors? Those are questions you must ask yourself. So take time to run through this assessment, as this is the first step that you need to do. It's called a market research. Ask, how do they inform customers about their businesses and attract them to make a purchase? That's a question you should be asking yourself. What makes one competitor stand out from the others? When you get the answers to this, you are a long way off to ensuring that you have optimized your marketing. Then this is how you also need to go about it when you talk about getting that information, because you're asking, okay, all these questions, where do I get the information from? So there are different types. Number one, you can observe. So observe the customers when they are buying or using a product. So see if the process is easy and convenient for them, and make note of the things that are inconvenient. So whether you're running an online platform, you are into the med space, you're doing some medical app, you have to ask yourself, how are they buying using that product? See the process. Is it easy or convenient for them? And make a note of things that are inconvenient or the service that is incomplete. Because if some people go to a certain store and your competitors offer an incomplete service, you may position yourself uniquely by offering a service that is complete. And then that can win in your favor. Then you need to be able to listen. Listen to what the customers say about your business and your competitors. It's very important that you take time to listen. Ask your friends or relatives to help you get this information. You know, join some online forums. These are different ways you can do that. Moving on, I want us to look at this example. So here is a customer, and here is the response saying, sorry, but you should pick up your laundry after 4 hours. We cannot deliver to your place. So by being able to listen, you'll be able to realize this, that by observing this laundry service, you may find out that it lacks of home delivery. And customers may be crying for this, and your solution could provide them what they require. Your solution can provide them with what they require. Then you need to be able to talk to customers. as often as possible. So if you're already in business, ask yourself, how often do you interact with your customers? Find out their challenges. Ask customers to complete a comment sheet for some time. Let them have feedback. Businesses that are known to continuously have feedback with their customers tend to do better in their marketing strategies because customers are willing to share things that can improve them. Then you need to study your competitors' business. If you've never done this before, it's not late for you to get started. See what they're doing. At times, be on their website. See what they are putting out there, because the truth of the matter is that in business, in a marketplace, you are in competition. Obviously, we say compete with yourself for the long run, but ideally, if you're too comfortable, someone is going to take you off your position. Then you need to be able to ask suppliers, because suppliers know other businesses and their business friends about the competitors. So these people, they interact with the market, they deal with your competitors. So be able to ask them as well. Find information from them that will help you answer the questions we've looked at. You can also check your order books. If you're already in sales, you can look at your sales records, your stock records to learn which type of product you provide that sells well. Remember, you're trying to find your sweet spot. So maybe when you started off with so many products in your inventory. You need to be able to have a way that you can track your sales and stocks and see which products are selling the most. There's a particular business model I fancy. I saw it with guys in China, and there are also people that are doing it now in the States, where their entire shop is made in such a way that they only sell the highest selling products. So what they do in the first month, when they start selling products, they see which products are selling the most and they put them at the front of the store. And the products that are not selling well, they put them at the back until they phase them off from the shop. So over time, the shop has got products that only convert highly, meaning that they raise the initial revenues each month. This is a great model, and sometimes this works for applications. That's why you find a featured segment. Apps that are selling well or apps that have been in other situations, people have to buy for that space. You find that they may be featured in the top segments. You need to go online and check the websites and post reviews of businesses in your market area. This is going to give you an understanding. Great. So there's an example here that we're going to be able to look at. So this is a market research at Kathria Enterprises. So I'm going to just take time to read this so that we can build a background. So Kathria established her mobile phone retail business 2 years ago. She has just done market research to learn more about her customers and competitors. She went into the shops run by her competitors and went on the internet to search for information about them. She spoke to her customers to learn more about their preferences. She also put a suggestion box in her shop and asked customers to share their views of how she could improve her product. So she's done what we've agreed on that you should be able to do. So on the next page is a chart showing how Kathria categorizes the information. We get to look at that. So just a minute. So let's just get to look at the next page. So on this page, we're looking at it in horizontal. So I'm going to go back to the slides so we can look at it in full and take an assessment. So this is the example, and I want us to be able to run through this because you need to get to find time to do this for your business. So this is an example of Kathria's online business, and this is her smartphone business. So she went ahead and did a market research, and this is the results that she got. So you can see on your left column, you can see our product, followed by that is our customers. And after that, you can also see, I hope you're able to read with me. You can go ahead and be able to see when and how often do customers buy our product. You can see our price. You can see comments from the customers describing what they like and do not like about my business. And lastly, facts about competition. Okay, facts about your competition. So now she's got two options at the moment. You know, she's also just trying to figure out her sweet spot. And she may be like you at the moment. She may be like one of us here, that at the moment you don't really know your sweet spot yet. You know your industry, you're in the food industry, the fashion industry, the agriculture industry, but you don't know your sweet spot yet. So she says she's got high-end smartphones. And for that, she's targeting business owners and managers. Remember, I talked about being able to know who exactly your customers are. It becomes very important. Okay? And then this particular high-end customers, you can see that they're business owners and managers, or these are young people that are children from middle class and upper class. These are people that have got more money to spend. Then when and how often do customers buy our product? You can see that she's been able to track that. So generally every year or whenever there is a new version that comes into the market. Now let me tell you why this is important. There's what is known as the lifetime value of a customer. At Meta, we take time to do this because you need to know how long that customer will consistently bring value to you as a business. How often will they buy from you? One of the reasons why it's been known and people will gossip about it, they say, no, the Chinese make their furniture in such a way that it will get damaged within a certain space of time. It's because they're trying to increase the lifetime value. They want you to come back. We normally use a certain venue where if that particular desk breaks, that particular desk cannot be repaired. You just have to replace it. So you need to ask yourself, generally every year or whenever there is a new version that comes into the market, is that your type of return for your customer? So whatever you're selling, know how often you're going to get customers. Or is it something that when someone subscribes once, they subscribe for the whole year? So it's going to show you how profitable that business is for you. Let me keep moving on because of time. Then there's a matter of your price. Often 5% higher than the market price. Okay? Those for the high-end smartphones. That was her market research. When you look at the comments, she got such comments. They like what my shop is the first in town to get the newest models from famous brands. They like that the staff is helpful and clearly explains the new functions. They like that we only have brand new products, so they do not have to worry about being sold an old model or second-hand phone by mistake. You see how much those questions we've shown you help you understand your customer. So now she even understands that these people love the newest brand. There are people like that. And if you're going for a premium type of a business, you need to understand that your particular customers may like that level of exclusivity. In a session that we did with the trainings, one of the teams we trained was entrepreneurs, we got into understanding 20 reasons why customers buy. And among them, we segment to say that there's exclusivity. Exclusivity is very good for high-end customers. And you can see Katira doing this. They do not like what my phones are. They do not like that my phones are more expensive. They complain that we do not buy back their old phones. So she's been able to gather both positive comments and negative comments. Then facts about the competition. So after she's also now asked questions about her competition, this is what she finds out. Prices in other shops are generally 5% lower than ours. Other shops buy back old phones and then sell them as second-hand phones. Other shops have a wider range of smartphones and many brands. So she's beginning to notice the differences. Other shops do not update newest models as fast as we do. Then you get to see on the low-end smartphones and normal mobile phones, this is our research. Anyone who needs a mobile phone, a new mobile phone, is a potential customer for that particular product, the ones that are more lower end. She gets this, when they start using mobile phones or when their old one is out of order, approximately every 3 years. So she can already see that the lifetime value of this customer varies, because you may get a customer to buy once and they might not buy from you again, because 3 years is a long time for a customer to go buy from a different place. So at the market price is the price that she's selling it at. They like that the staff is helpful and clearly explains the new function. They do not like that I do not offer a wide range of brands and models. They do not like that we do not sell second-hand phones because they would be cheaper to buy. So the lower end, the customers who are on the lower end smartphones, they want more. They want second-hand phones. So you can already see there's a contrast between these two types of customer segments. Remember, you need to be able to understand that. So now one of the segments loves that there are no second-hand phones because they are sure that they are buying the latest model and they won't buy a second-hand by mistake. Whereas the lower end smartphones, the customers that buy that are not happy with that. So with this contrast, she begins to see how she can move further. She can also see that other shops among her competitors have wider range of brands, models, and prices, whereas for her, she has focused on a smaller range of brands. Other shops offer second-hand phones at affordable prices. Their staff is not always helpful, and some customers are concerned. So this is how you carry out the first step, which is being able to conduct your market research. And this is what you should get. Now, moving on to the second step. Remember, for positioning, there are 3 steps. We've looked at the first one, being able to learn about your customers and competitors. When you do that assessment and you have the man, you go through those questions, be able to do them. The earlier you do them, the better you're going to position yourself. So by tomorrow, you should be able to do that. You're going to find some great activities that you can take up. So now when it comes to segmenting the market and selecting your target customers, there are also 3 steps that we're going to run through. So allow me to be able to go through the manual with you on this. So the first step is market segmentation. This is where that you've now got that data from your market research that shows you the different particular markets. Now you want to segment your markets. Then secondly, you want to identify a segment with unmet needs. Remember, this is marketing. You want to be able to differentiate yourself from your customers, from your competitors, sorry. Then thirdly, you want to assess whether the segment is big enough for your business. At the end of the day, when you've been able to pick your target market, you need to know, will you make a profit? Because at the end of the day, you do not want to focus on a business that only has 1,000 people as your potential market. And out of that, now when you're looking to get your market share from that, you only get 20 customers, and that's how your business dies. There are certain great ideas, but one of the reasons why you shouldn't run them is because perhaps you do not have a big market for that segment that you're able to zero it down in. For example, if you offered a product that's caters across the segment of people that maybe are undergoing a condition, a medical condition like diabetes or asthma, you need to be able to see for the region you're targeting, what's the number? Am I going to be able to have a big enough audience for this? So when you take time to go through your IYB menu from page 14 to 17, and I want us to look at that, I told you I'm going to emphasize going back and forth to the menu because this session is better carried out through going through this menu. It's one of the requirements for you to fully understand what to do. So when you've learned about your customers, the next stage, we looked at that. This is an activity you should be able to do, is segmenting the market and selecting your target customer. So you go all the way from page 14 in your menu, you should be able to find this very helpful. So again, we're using Katira's mobile phone shop as an example. Okay, so then we note that many customers like her shop because she is always the first to sell the latest models of the top brands. And on the other hand, other customers complain that her price is often higher than the others. So some customers like her shop because they can be assured that they are buying a brand new phone and are not cheated into buying a second-hand. So that's one segment of customers. Then others do not like the fact that she does not buy back their old phones and sell used phones at affordable prices. So there's a division there. And remember, when you want to segment, this is something you need to know. You need to pick customers that have got shared values. So then the question is, how can she satisfy all the customers? And this is the trick. You can't satisfy all the customers. So those of us that are doing businesses that want to satisfy all the potential customers, even at MakeLife, we've been streamlining our customer reach with time. Initially, we started with capturing a larger audience. We're covering a number of things, a number of areas, and we keep on streamlining it. And now we focus on professionals, entrepreneurs, and enterprises. And not just that, we are only focused on the management aspect of what they do. When you talk about management, we are focused in planning, organizing, controlling, and coordinating. So everything that comes around that, the teams you work, that's what we are specialized in. So we believe that we are the FastLane management solution providers that help our customers turn their ideas into reality. So whenever there's a need to convey a concept, a goal, or an idea, we optimize your process of conversion in management. So we help you know what's lacking in your management teams and how you can build those teams for the fullest impact. We help you know what tools are lacking, and we give you access to that so that your management process may get you there. So now you can't satisfy all customers. There's a time we had to do a lot of other things for customers that we had to put off. So now Katia should not try to satisfy everyone. And that goes for each one of us here. We must be able to only look at the people we can satisfy. Because it is almost impossible, and that's true. So for example, Katia buys back and then sells second-hand phones. Some low-income customers will like it. However, other customers who shop at Katia's because they trust her to sell only brand new products may then be concerned that they might not be buying a brand new phone in the latest model. So she has to make a decision. So how does she do that? So this group of customers is the target customer or the target market. Like I've said, you can't save everyone. So your target market is that particular customer that you're going to decide to save. So let's see how Katia makes that decision in some market segmentation step. So this is how she goes about it. She asks who are they, what benefits are they looking for, how do they buy or use the products that she's offering. And let's get to look at how she did that. So with this particular model, she now goes in deep to segment her markets. So business people who are owners and managers, the income is over 1,500 per month. That's the first, those are the first people, and you have this in your manual. Then let's look at the second type. Young people from 16 to 25 years old who come from wealthy families. You see, she's segmenting from the information she got initially. Then most of their income is provided by family and is usually $500 per month. So she takes note of that. The third segment are young office workers or students. These have got incomes around 100 to 400. So she knows every customer coming in and define them. Office workers, small and retailers with an income between $400 to $600. And finally, construction workers, farmers and housewives with low incomes of 100. So with that said, then she asks herself the question, what benefits are they looking for? So the first ones are high-end products that confirms their social status. That's what they want. And they are interested in new applications, good camera, Wi-Fi. Those are what they want. She gets to see how they do their, how they buy and use the product. So the business owners buy a phone when a new model is introduced and give away the old one. So these are the people that have super money and they just go and give away the old one when the latest one comes out. So they're not worried about the price and appreciate service, staffing, explaining new functions. The younger people, the ones who are the children to the wealthy families, these guys love technology. They appreciate new technologies, innovation. I mean, if you've seen or you go around the youth, we want innovative stuff most of the time, the latest technologies. So they look for new entertainment functions on their smartphones. They're more interested in the cameras, in what the phone can do. They want to be the first to have the new model. You know, they choose famous brands. They're not too concerned about the price. And the list goes on. Young office workers, these are people that get between $100 to $400. Okay? These ones look for both basic functions and entertainment functions with acceptable quality. And you get to see that products that would help them elevate their social status. They look for good appearance. Even fake brandless and known products are okay. This is the customers that are okay to buy the Chinese phones. They don't really mind about the brand as long as it can do the functions. They care about the prices. So for them, pricing is very important. They accept unknown fake brandless products as long as the products have got functions they need. Let's move on quickly and look at the other segment. The office workers, the small retailers who've got a bigger income range. These ones look for durable mobile phones with good basic functions and some additional entertainment features. They do not change phones until they are out of order and cannot be fixed. They prefer good quality products and popular brands. And lastly, you can see, you take time to look at the construction workers. When she's done this, she's now able to identify and go to the second step, a segment with unmet needs. So now what she wants to do is all these particular segments, the 5 that we've looked at here, she cannot take up all of them. So when you've done your research, you've done your market segmentation, you now need to pick who are going to be your target market. So you identify which segment has got the unmet needs, because then if you're meeting an unmet need, you'll be at an advantage from your competitors. So in this step, you should explore whether any segment has any unmet need and pick the segments that you think you can match. And ideally, other suppliers should not be able to serve them as well as you do. So from the 5 of them, she has to assess who can she serve the best. And that's what she wants to be able to do. She also looks here and says the first segments, Kathira thinks that she can meet the needs of the first and second segments. So that's what she believes. She can meet the ones who are business owners and the rich kids, right? Then she has a good network of suppliers who are able to provide her with the new models within 2 weeks of the date that are first launched abroad. So she knows what she'll be comfortable with at the end of the day. She knows that she can afford to meet the first and second segments. But then I want you to look at something here. Kathira also can meet the needs of segment 4. Now, segment 4 are the workers and the retailers that have got a $400 going up income. Those just want durable, those are just want durable mobile phones with good functions. So now, on the other hand, she can not meet the needs of segments 3 and 5 as she does not sell cheap or counterfeit brands. So she wants to maintain her brand of selling these super expensive, phones and whatnot. So now, this is what she does. The third step, she needs to assess whether the segment is big enough for her business. So initially, she already knows that segment 1 is good for her, right? But guess what she decides to do? She decides that she's going to pick the first segment and the 4th segment. Because for her to pick her target market, she needs to look for people who got shared values. So let me just take this time to read this for you so that I don't lose anyone. So in this step, you should assess whether the number of potential customers is large enough to sustain your business and make it profitable. So then you need to predict if your customer base will increase in the future. And if that's the case, at least you're going to know that you're targeting the right market. So the things like the average income, the gender, the employment levels, as you saw in that table, are things you should know. So now in Kathira's example, she estimates that there are not many people in the first and second segments, because these are high brands, these are premium models. So she knows she won't get as many people. And this is very true. I know I've tried selling a premium product, and anything that's premium doesn't get the most people. So you must target only a few people. There are certain programs that make like, well, we only target to have 20 people because we know that it's a particular program that may not cut across from different segments. So we won't stress around the numbers. We'll just stick at the numbers that we are looking for. Then there's also detail like they make up a maximum of 10% of the town's population. Although this segment will increase in the future as the economy develops, she believes that the 2 segments will not be sufficient for her business to make a profit. So in stage 3, she's been able to assess whether she should go in for this. I want to move quickly so we can get into the next slide and look at the online component of positioning. After considering other segments, she has decided that she will target segment 1 and segment 4. I want you to listen to the segment 1 is the people that are in business. Segment 2 are the people that are at work. And these are the people that have got an income. But look at what she looks at, because if you want to create a match between different segment markets, because one is not enough, you need to look at shared values. So these 2 segments have stable incomes. Number 1, the business owners have stable incomes, and the people with the jobs at that level have got stable incomes. And they share the same needs for quality mobile phones from well-known reliable brands They usually will not purchase second-hand or fake products. The two segments account for around 30% of the total market, which is bigger than 10%. And she knows she can make a profit out of this particular segment now, the combination, which is sufficient for Kateria's business to be profitable. So in addition, Kateria may gain an advantage from targeting both segments, which is to leverage the image of segment 1 or segment 4. And there's a reason why she leaves out segment 2. And this is the point I'll just go to, and then we can be done with this. All the mobile phone users are between 30 to 50 years. You can tell that when she carried out her demographics from the time she was segmenting, the people normally who earn between 400 and up, she noticed that they are between 30 to 50 years. So they have either own businesses or stable jobs and have earned incomes not only lower than 400 and shop for good quality mobile phones. She's avoided the young people because of this. As a result, it may require a different approach to get this segment, such as hiring young, trendy sales staff. She knows that if she targets segment 2 with the young rich kids, she's going to need younger staff. But she knows that the people between 30 and 50 years don't mind older staff members, people that will be able to talk at their level. So because these have got shared values of the type of people who will be working in her stores, she has decided to pick segment 1 and segment 4. And that's what comes to start customer segment. Make sure you go through this and be able to do your activity. Lastly, identify your position of your product. Quickly, let me go back to the slide and hope we are able to see it. Let me just share the slides. Then I'll quickly take time to do questions because we're moving with time. And okay, should be this slide. Okay, this one is why. Okay, just a minute. Let me share where we were. So we're here at identifying the position of your goods or service. So remember, there were 3 steps that we looked at. Just a recap for those of you who may need. We're looking at the 3 steps to follow your position. We looked at learning about your customers and competitors. This helps you with being able to have, this is market research and gives you the data that you need. The second step is segmenting the market. You saw how we brought down market into market segments. We are able to look at their different characteristics and come to a place where we're able to pick the target market, the target customer as well. And the third step is identifying the position of your good or service, which we're about to look at, and then we'll take questions. So in this step, you write down your position, which is the image that you would like your target customer to perceive about your product. Remember when we shared that thought? I should have been sharing it in full view, but let me go back to our menu. Then we'll be able to finalize with that, with this segment. So in this step, you write down your position, which is the image that you'd like your target customer to perceive about your product. So then you should check whether it matches the 3 criteria. Remember what we started with? We said that for proper positioning, these 3 criteria should be met. Respond to a need that customers highly value. Make sure that you can deliver what you promise. Remember, you're promising, in Kateria's example, promising new phones. You never have a risk of buying an old phone secondhand. You also need to differentiate your product from your competitors. Remember, meeting the unmet needs by being able to see what unique thing you're going to do. So Kateria decides that the position for her mobile phone is what? Brand new mobile phones from prestigious brands only. And that's what people will know Kateria from. You see where we've taken this journey? We started with being able to find Kateria's position. And position is what? The picture you want your customer to know you for. Are you going to be known as the person with the brand new phones or the person with the low-end phones? Based on your market research, what you know you can deliver, and being able to see the values that you want to cover for, you'll be then now known for brand new mobile phones. Now guess this, if at all she wants to save the other people, the ones with the low end. What she can do is do this. If she intends to this, she can simply just discuss it with her brother, this opportunity with her brother, and let him open a separate second-hand phone. So she'll do this because she doesn't want to create confusion in the brand, as this what may dilute her position. So make sure that if you want to go online, remember it's a competitive market. I'm about to start looking at the online segment, and it's going to be shorter than this. We want to make sure that we have a proper positioning. It's the first thing. Customers must have a picture of you. Whether you are in education, know what you're doing. Whether you are in cake business, they should either know you as the person that sells premium cakes because of your packaging, the way you do your designs. They should know that. Whether you focus on, people should know you as the wedding cake person. You should know that. If you are in clothing, people should know whether you sell high-end products. If you sell high-end products, then there should be a way you package your products. There should be a way you do your processing. If you sell the normal shirts like the retailers will also do, make sure that you've accounted for that. That being said, I'm going to stop sharing the screen and take a few questions before we go to the next part, which is number 2, which is the online part. So you can raise your hand and I'll be able to unmute you from your end, from my end. So if you've got questions, you'll be able to do that. Let's get some questions. Or if it's been clear, you can type clear in the chat box so I can also just get that feedback. I'm looking for hands. So far what we've covered how you position your product or your service, whether it's digital or not. You go through those steps. So there are 3 criteria you must go through. Make sure you make use of your IYB marketing manual. It's very detailed. It's giving you questions for market research. Trust me, for you to have someone do market research for you. For example, if you came to us to do market research for you, we would definitely go the extra mile, but you've been given an opportunity to do this on your own and ensure that when you go into your competitive market, you are optimized to sell. People will have the right picture and you'll be a staying brand. When you talk about Nike, people remember Nike as a sporting brand, and that's why Nike has stayed alive for a long time. When you talk about Adidas, it's the same thing that comes to mind. But how many brands that didn't have a clear positioning last for the longest time? Just because they want to be cheap, affordable. Gone are the times we must want to sell something because we are making it cheap. It's a very bad business model. You must have intention to everything you do, and what we've shared will help you get there. After stage 1 is done, tomorrow we're going to focus on marketing, and we're going to start again with IYB, and we're going to go through the 7 P's of marketing. They're called the marketing mix: the product, the pricing, the place, the people, the promotion, all the way through to the process. We're going to go through that step by step. You can read ahead in the marketing manual, so that when you come, if there are any questions you have, you come ready for questioning us. So I'm not seeing any hands up. I'm saying clear. Thank you for the feedback. We are now going to go into the component that deals with online. So I'd like to see if we can, I don't know if it's fine we proceed in, or people feel a bit tired. The question would have been a nice icebreaker. But if people are geared, can I go into the next session now? Are we ready to do the next session so that we can finish in time? If someone says yes, thank you for those saying yes. So we're going to now share with you strategies on how you can position online. These are strategies we've been using at MakeLive. These are strategies we've been able to help some of our clients be able to implement. And these are also strategies that we've seen experts in the industry implement. Remember, we want to share from a different, across varying types of business models. So we'll not be sharing exclusively to what we do. I will also be sharing things that are going to be key to some of you that are in different types of business models. So positioning strategies. So let's continue from what we built on. We now know how to position our product, our service. We've done the fundamentals. Now we can look at how we do the strategies online, because we are now in an online marketplace. So to do that, I want to create a background first for this. So why is it important for you to position your product online? Experts predict that retail e-commerce sales will reach 4.13 trillion in 2020 alone. So there's a huge market, and if you position yourself like Katira was able to do, it means that she can be guaranteed that this market has got 30%. So she's targeting a market with 30% of the market. And because she's positioned in that market, she can be able to have her market share. Now, a good market share for you would be great if you're looking at a 4.13 trillion in 2020 alone. And these trends have been going up each and every year. So we can assume 2021 will have more than 4.13 trillion in e-commerce sales. So if you're not already online or you're still in ideation, you might want to get started there. It is expected that by 2040, 95% of all purchases will be via e-commerce. So we see that many skills are becoming obsolete. We've had so many people contacting us to help them set up their e-commerce platforms. Their platforms right now, we're doing some unique platforms for some of our clients. That's helping them be able to reach a wider audience. And we are happy to see such people who are waking up to this sooner, because 2040 is not too far from now. 20 years may go by, God willing, you're still there. You're going to see approximately maybe 95% of people purchasing via e-commerce. We've already seen things like cryptocurrencies coming up. So there's a whole lot that's changing. There's more and more platforms. I'll share with you some platforms that you can actually set up e-commerce stores on. But you see that there's consistently a rise, and the earlier the better. It's not too late. You're actually among the few people within a local space getting to start doing this. We have checked the stats, and you are at a benefit. The top reason why people make online purchases is that they can shop whenever they want. 24/7 is the new normal, people. It's the on-demand market. I remember ordering my favorite pizza from Debonair's, the triple-decker large something meaty. How we love that pizza. And I always love it coming with some bottles of Fanta. And, you know, each time it came out, I was always excited because I could get it at demand. Whilst I'm waiting for it, that was the time that I love being able to just rest and watch a movie. I think we all have those days. And it will come through on demand. I didn't have to go to the place, and I saved all the Debonair's pizzas numbers from East Park to the one at Engine, all the way through to Manda Hill. I have all of them in my phones because I love that pizza. Because that's a new normal. It's at a convenience. Even when there was a time I was working, because I'm a student at UNZA, and I was working at my house, and that was last year. And I called forth before I even go to the place to ask for the pizza to be delivered home, and it got delivered. That's the world we're living in now. Tigmu Eats has joined this Afri Delivery, and we've seen different people coming in this market. Why is it important for you to position your products online? It's expected that mobile e-commerce retail sales will reach 3.5 trillion by 2021. And that's why we're going to look at applications shortly, because many people are buying through apps these days. Olendo is via app. We see people coming about now, wash on your phone. Why are people doing this? They want to be more accessible. And I'm going to share with you a stat here. Around 51% of digital buyers contact purchases via their smartphones. And more often than websites, people go to applications. But people still go to websites and still get stuff. And that's why we're going to share some website info for you and why a website will be important at this particular point in time. All right, let me just get to rest for a bit here and ask if there's any reactions. I know I've cruised through the past slides, and I wouldn't want to leave anyone behind. So now Robert Kiyosaki says this, that the best time to make money is after recession. I specifically decided to quote him because he's someone that we are all almost familiar with. He's the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, a book that has sold all over the world. And we can trust credibility in what he says concerning how he's ended in the recession. With Make Life Alone during this recession, we've been able to see growth happen to us because we've been able to position ourselves rightly, and we've started seeing growth. We are actually seeing more this year than we saw in a previous year when we were still operating as ML consulting and coaching. And we've been able to see that difference. And we believe that this is the moment for you to optimize your processes online. are we now excited to get to build a base on e-commerce? So how many of us have an e-commerce store? Before I get into this, can I get some views in the chat box? How many of us already have a store? How many of us already have a store, a website? Just go ahead and click me. If not yet, you can just go ahead and say not me, not yet. Let's just get an idea. Okay, so no one is posting. Am I assuming that at the moment none of us have put up a site? An app, a site, anything? Thank you for that feedback, Kawangu. Sia says me, thank you. We're still learning. Have a great site. Not yet, Ivan, thank you. Not yet from Edson, thank you for that feedback. Douglas says not yet, thank you so much. Not yet from Duncan, not yet from Clarence. Thank you for being participative. We appreciate that. Not yet from Belly May. Great, keep them coming. So we're gonna now show you how to have a base in understanding. Okay, yes, not yet just a Facebook page. Great. So at least you've got some online presence. Sometimes it might be actually enough. Sometimes a Facebook page alone may be enough. And we're going to share different scenarios for you. Chisemba says not yet. Thank you all. So now let's just create some base for those of you that may need to understand e-com before we share the strategies, because we didn't want to rush through the strategies without really creating that base for you. So here are few things you should know about e-com. These are the top basics. Number one, you need to know the types of e-commerces, the e-commerce based on what transactions are made. So e-commerce can be divided into different types based on the transactions being made. I'll share that in a bit. The other basic you need to know are the types of e-commerce based on the parties involved. So sometimes e-commerce is categorized based on the parties that are involved. By the parties, we're looking at the people involved in it, the buyers and the consumers. The forms of e-commerce at times could be the way that you, sorry, let me just say that again. So the forms of e-commerce. So among the top basics you must know is what types of e-commerce exist, and we're going to quickly share that. Fourthly, available e-commerce platforms like Spotify, Flutterwave, Salesforce. We're going to just share quite a number with you. There's so many today. I mean, talking about Amazon Web Services, the Google platform, WordPress. There's so many e-commerce platforms today, and we'll share a bit of that. So you need to understand those basics. And last but not the least, the e-commerce sales processes, tools, and techniques. These are things that you should know, at least as basics. So we're going to quickly look into the types of e-commerce. So from today, when someone asks you what types of e-commerce are there are 3 of them you should be able to answer. You should be able to know it. Types of e-commerce based on the parties involved. You should know what types exist based on the parties involved. Remember when you look at the ad, we said B2B and B2C marketing and sales. We're mostly interested in B2B and B2C. And when we crown this course on the 3rd day, we're going to even do a special look into selling to B2B. So the types of e-commerce based on what transactions are made is the first type. And so let me just do this. Okay, so the first type is physical e-com. Physical e-commerce is where you sell physical products. So for example, if you're selling shirts, you're selling books, there's a client of mine that's into the t-shirt business, and we're building a particular platform for them to be able to sell that in the segmented way that we're designing for them. So if you're selling any physical product, whether you're selling paperback books, you're selling stoves, you're selling pots, you're selling fashion, you're selling swag, whatever you're selling, shoes, that's under physical e-commerce. So you actually have to deliver a physical product at the end of the day. Then the service e-commerce. Some of you, what you're selling right now is a service. It could be medical services, educational services, business services like we do at MakeLive. It could be you are selling, what other services? Can anyone share a service that you're in that's not shared here? Maybe you can just share with the team. Any services I've not listed, medical, educational, be able to look at different types of services. Maybe you're doing catering services, Let's get some examples of what you are into at the moment. Great. All right, as I'm waiting for that, the third type of e-commerce based on the transaction made are digital e-commerce. This is why you sell digital products online. I'm a keen person who participates in this particular type of e-commerce greatly. I have bought so many digital products, and I have been privileged to sell a whole lot of digital ones as well. And that's really we do with the applications, with the books, the audio books, the PDF books. Those come into digital format of product. If you've sold a website before, that's digital e-commerce. If you sold a software before, that's digital e-commerce. So those are the three types of e-commerce. So I don't know what form your business has for e-com, but it may always fall in these three types of e-commerce based on transaction. Is that clear? Is clear? Go ahead and type in a yes, clear. Let's go ahead and do some level of engagement. We wish to share these slides so that those of you that missed any portion can go through them at your own pace. Okay, great. I'm not getting any feedback. Okay, it's great to see at least a yes, another yes. Thank you so much. So as we keep on building the base, the second base is types of e-commerce based on the parties involved. So parties are the buyer and the seller. Remember, it's a market. And right now there's a competitive market. So these are the types of markets in e-commerce that are available. The first one is business to consumer. This is the most popular type of e-commerce platform that's out there. For example, Orlando goes with a business to consumer model because they are marketing to you, the consumer, through the application, and you're being able to pay to them. And obviously they've got a dual market type of arrangement because they've got a market from the driver's side, which is the supply side, and a market from the person who's getting the driver take them to the place, which is the demand side. By the end of the day, it's true business to consumer. Those are the people consuming. Those are the people that are using. So for them to be business to consumers / user. There's business to business. This one you get to see it a lot with platforms like Amazon or eBay, where you're allowed to own your own store and platform. So they sell to you who owns the store subscription, and you get charged. Flutterwave charges you based on commission. So they give you as a business person a platform, a store, payment links and whatnot, and you get to get involved with them. Business to government. For example, PACRA, ZRA, you find that we pay to the government. Yeah, so the government, actually the way I should phrase this one better. So when you talk about business to government, this is a situation where businesses offer services to the government, not the other way around. So if you've got, for example, you take up tenders in the government, that's what is known as business to government type of parties involved. So whether you're doing a bid, you participate in bids, and you're going to meet a need, whether it's service, physical or digital for the government, you're supplying them with software, you are partnering with the government to offer a certain service, medical, educational. That's a business to government type if it involves an e-commerce platform as well. There's consumer to consumer. It's not so popular, but this also works. For example, there are platforms that allow consumers to sell among themselves and be able to exchange value, where you find all these freelancers that can get in touch, people that can invite themselves, consumer to business as well. This one is also not too popular as well, but it's also another form. This is where consumers go sell to businesses. And that's the way that particular model works. Lastly, consumer to government. So you can take time to look at that. So that's just the base. So with that covered, I'm going to look into this. Let me just verify something. Okay, great. So before I get to cover a bit on this, let me be able to do something quickly. When we listed here the forms of e-commerce, there are different forms of e-commerce, and I'll just have to list them for now. I'll be able to share with you some of that we'll send them to your mails. So I didn't want to overpopulate these slides because of time. So there's drop shipping. This is where you don't own any inventory. You just connect the manufacturers with the buyers through your platform. And this can prove to be a very helpful model. And then there's also, let me just get to do this, just a moment. I feel to be more effective if I can share with you more on this. So I'm just going to quickly open the slides where I can quickly share with you on the different types of e-commerce that are there. I know time is moving, but I just feel for the full value that you are looking to receive, to be important for you to know that it's easier for us to track if you're in any of those types of e-commerce platforms already. I feel building the base is worth it. So I'll be sharing with you a slide just soon enough that can help us run through them step by step, and so that I don't get anyone missing out on this. So let me just unpause this slide and share this one with you. Okay. All right. So awesome. Are we able to see that screen? So with that shared, these are the types of the forms of e-commerce. So there's a private label. The way private label operates is where you set up your own shop. So you're the one who puts up your website, whether you're using WordPress or you're going with scripts and you have to build it all the way from the background with programming language. That's a private label type of e-commerce, form of e-commerce. This one, you have your own brand, you do your logo designs, you have to set it up, you have to start building the brand from scratch. So that's known as private label. So customers, for them to come to your website, that's private label. It has got disadvantages and disadvantages. The good part is that with private label, you get to retain all the data to yourself because you manage the entire platform. If I use WordPress, all the data is within your control. But then there are types of e-commerce forms where you are a third party on a platform like Amazon and eBay. So there, people already know to come to Amazon and you just host your store there, and people already will come there. So Amazon is going to work to bring traffic to the platform, and then your product can be featured. But with private label, you have to do all the work to send people to your platform. So whether you go on social media to direct them, that's how it goes. Drop shipping is a model where you have got no inventory, so you can start drop shipping without any money. What you just do is you make an arrangement with suppliers, and you tell them to say, I want to be able to sell on my platform, and when people buy from my platform, I'm going to ask you to deliver to their doorstep. So it's either the supplier takes up the job of delivering, especially if it's a big product. Probably if you're selling, say, furniture, you can go to a place like Builders Warehouse, maybe make an arrangement with them. And when someone buys from your platform, they are the ones that deliver. So all you need to know is you take photos of the product you want to sell. That's one thing. You have an agreement with them, and then you know the cost of the product. Then you simply add a markup that you sell on your platform. And people buy from you, you then buy from your supplier and it's delivered. So this is a safe way of, the benefit is that you don't need to tie up your products into inventory. You can start selling just by doing a website. There's actually a term that I love and I kind of thought of, which I call drop servicing. This is where you can sell other people's services on your platform. This is a bonus for you out there. Wholesale. Wholesale is where you are selling on your platform in wholesale quantities. There's a client that we've been looking at this with Ideal Trains. And Amazon, Alibaba is actually famous for having a lot of manufacturers that sell to wholesalers, and most wholesales are up there. So these are platforms where you can have massive products sent to you. Let me move on with time. Drop servicing, like I've shared with you, affiliate sales as well. Those are the types of forms. And there's also what is known as white label. White label is where you produce a product, but then any person can sell your product and put whatever label they want on it. So your benefit is that the product is being bought from you, and you don't mind whether it's someone else's brand that's put on the label on the product, as long as you make your money. So some people are not comfortable with white label. They want to maintain the rights and go with private label. A white label can be good for scaling, because any person who's great at selling can come and be able to get the rights to be able to sell your product under white label and do that. So those are the different forms of e-commerce. If you didn't know, these are some available e-commerce platforms. Spotify, those of you who've heard it, it's by Facebook, and this one is kind of hard to set up. It's kind of hard to set up. You need to be able to have some level of programming to do that. Amazon is easier to set up. You get to register an account with them, and you can open a store and start selling on Amazon. The trick part about Amazon right now for a region like Zambia is you get to have challenges with payment gateways, and you have to go through a lot of bank account transactions. However, it's not the one we recommend for you here. WordPress WooCommerce. So WordPress has a plugin called WooCommerce. Some of you have used it before. It allows you to set up a store on your platform to get payments, integrate plugins that work with WooCommerce. And this is another platform you can use. It's very good for private label businesses. Salesforce, this one is good for drop shipping, and it's mostly famous out there. It's not yet taken a strong stand within our local spaces, but Salesforce allows suppliers to be connected with you, the person who's got an online platform where you can sell from, and then people can receive their products collected or delivered by the supplier. Flutterwave is one that we highly recommend, and those of you that paid within 24 hours of the time we had communicated it, we're going to be able to help guide you on how you can set up your Flutterwave store. This was a special bonus as communicated via the webinar. We're going to be able to help you set that up, so it stores and different functionalities. However, those of you who come for this webinar are privileged to be able to hear this. If you've heard it before, that's good. If not, this might be a platform you need to check. Go to their website, Flutterwave, and be able to look them up. They offer very conducive platform, and we'll be able to help you set this up, and we'll also give you the 2 weeks mentorship, any guidance for those of you on WordPress sites on how you can optimize it. But we are focusing on Flutterwave for that bonus, because you can even start selling by next week, whether it's physical products, digital products, or services. You can use Flutterwave, and it's very easy to set up. It takes up MTN mobile money, and it also takes up this payment. Let me just say that it takes up Visa and MasterCard. So I'm going to advise that you don't go ahead and do this on your own. If you're interested, first let us know, then we'll help you sign up. So just look them up, but don't sign up, because we want to run you through and be able to have you tracked so that we can be able to ensure your progress is steady. So those of you who are interested in this, make sure you let us know. So, and don't go and sign up. We'll send you the link to sign up and help you be able to optimize it. So now let me go back to our slide for today. I think the base has been built, and we have still some time, and I'm going to have enough time left over to build. All right, so is everything clear up to this point? At least we have, even those who didn't know anything about e-commerce, are you confident that when you go through this video, you're going to be able to understand this fully? Can I just get some feedback? Remember, if you don't learn, this won't be beneficial. You want to ensure that you learn. At least we get to know. Okay, at least so far it's clear, right? Okay, thanks to Janet, to Mark. Thank you for those following. Thank you for those following. Okay, thank you from Wisteria Learning. Thank you from Grace Lushomo. Okay, thanks to all of you being able to participate. So now let's quickly move on to how you position yourself online. So we're going to quickly look through 6 strategies that will help you with positioning online. Tomorrow we're going to look at marketing. That's why we're going to look at funnels, traffic generation, social media platforms. So we're not looking at that tonight. Those of you hungry to get to know how to start bringing people to your platforms, we'll learn that tomorrow. But more important than that, if you position yourself rightly online, you're going to have what is known as organic traffic. Organic means that these are naturally occurring visitors to your app, where your app is hosted, to your website, to your landing pages, if you are able to optimize through this. So we're going to take with A and B, we're going to focus on the website. C to F, we're going to focus on applications, because applications are going to own most of the market share going forward because of the accessibility. But take note that the application space is highly competitive because there's a limited number as to how many apps people can hold on their phone. That's why positioning becomes important. You may not get this all at a go, but the good part is that you're going to have this information available to you that you can consistently be able to build upon. Since you've taken this particular course, you'll be able to reflect on this. This is going to be accessible to you. The videos will be made accessible to you for a duration of over 8 months. You'll be able to always go to the replay, and we'll keep it active for that long. That's the longest duration we can allow any digital content to be out there. We advise that you do not duplicate or for piracy reasons. That would be against the law. So this is provided to you because you've been able to make payments. Okay, so we're going to look at website precision setup, website footprints. We are also going to be able to look at application rankings, how to rank your apps, application optimization, how to fast track building your app. So those who want to build apps very fast, it's very important that you know how to fast track it. Instead of taking 1 year, 7 months, I have seen people take months to years to the point where they bury the entire app altogether. I'm going to show you strategies that maybe you've heard of, but for the most part, I believe this will be new. And these are stuff that we've used at MakeLive, and it's helped us own apps. We've got gaming apps, and we've got apps in our development process right now, and they'll be being launched starting next month. We're going to have a lot of apps launched, and you're going to have access to those particular applications. We're going to send you updates when they're coming out. Some of you, those applications will greatly benefit you. We're going to show you how to monetize your app. Okay, we're going to show you how to go about it. So we're not going to get into detail in this because it's quite it involves quite a bit. For the purposes of today, we're going to at least help you know where to start from. So website precision setup. So how do you make sure that your website has got high conversion? Because when we talk about positioning, you want it in such a way that when someone comes to your website, the conversion is high. The average conversion rate of websites today is just 2.8%, somewhere approximately around there. Many people own websites that have got so much on them, and very few, I tell you, conversions. If I ask you today, how many of you have been able to make money from your website in the past 1 month? Those of you with websites, how many of you have been able to make some money from that? People came to your website and bought something. Maybe some of you have made some sales, that would be great. But the majority, not just in Zambia, the world over, I've been looking at the stats and I've been following this closely. The average conversion is at a pitiful 2.8% on average, which is not good. I mean, out of 100% of people visiting your website, and you only get about 2.8. But what if we told you there's a way to optimize your website such that you can increase that conversion to 30, 40, 60, 70 to 90%? Wouldn't that be a better way of setting a website? So now, this is how you do it. The first thing is you need to build landing pages. I'll clearly go ahead and say this. Websites that are overpopulated in this day and age do not convert too much. This is why, because people have paralysis of choice. We used to have a website as MakeLive that we had to tear down, and right now we are redesigning our website because we saw another particular website that we set up was based on this model began to bring conversions. And we have another app called Kumbuka Loans that we've been able to optimize with such a landing page. I'm going to share you a particular screenshot of that particular app. So that particular app's landing page to give you the idea. So what is a landing page? A landing page is simply put a one-page website. That's a landing page. Those of you who managed to click the link to the payment, you are able to see one of our sites a landing page we created using Google Sites. And the different ways to create landing pages, we've built some using WordPress before. Google Sites is very easy, and that's why we said for the purposes of people who are attending this class, let them have some interaction with Google Sites, because it will be very easy for you to set it up. So this is a one-page website that people can go to, and within one page, you make sure that you convert them. To better drive this point home, a study was done when, and I'm going to just have to give you some, I'm going to have to use different elements to bring that particular example to life. So I'm going to give it as an example. But this was a study that was done with real business items. So now one particular table was selling about 12 types of perfumes. Many people were attracted at the fragrances and they went to try them all. But very few people bought. Out of 10 people that went to that particular table, only 1 to 2 people actually bought. And another table that was selling only 4 types of perfumes had about 6 out of the 10 people buy a perfume. And when they studied that, they realized that because of what is known as choice overload, people failed to make decisions. So today we have websites that people go to, and initially they were interested in going to buy a microwave, and the first page they see shows them another product, an iron. It shows them a water heater. Before you know it, they start looking at all these things, and they exit your website without buying something. Now, what if you had one page that sold one product? We already showed you how to position your product. You already know how to put the image in your clientele's mind. So make sure you have a landing page. The reason why we didn't send you to some complicated website, for those of you that were able to go to that link, was because we wanted you to see one thing and one thing alone, the 3 days training. Everything on that website was just about the 3-day training. You can't look to the left and start seeing another thing that we are not selling. So when you're on that website, you're probably going to go to do one particular action with one call to action there. Let's make a move. So this is how you do that. When you build your landing page, you need to target, your target market must be precise. So do not say that we offer business solutions. What type of business solutions do you offer? Do you offer financial solutions? Do you offer catering solutions? Do you offer medical solutions to businesses? Be more precise to that. The more precise, the better it becomes. And with time, you can get more and more precise. At MakeLive, we have automated that process. We use keywords in our messaging. And I'm going to show you a screenshot of the Kumbuka Loan app platform and show you how precise that wording is. So from today, whether you're in cakes, don't just say we sell cakes. Someone is more likely to come to you when you just say we do wedding cakes. If you do wedding cakes, you also do birthday cakes, have separate websites for them. If you really want engagement, so that when people go to your wedding cake website, that should be the first tagline they see. Order your wedding cake today. Such sites will have more people coming to buy wedding cakes than a site that has got wedding cake, birthday cake, children's cake, church cake, political cake, all the cakes in the world. You do not want all the cakes. You want a site with one page that says, order your wedding cake today, or the best wedding cakes in town. It should be precise. If you start doing this in your messaging, you will get more people buying. Your conversion will move from 2.8 to 30 to 20, and it will keep going up. And when anyone wants to recommend a person who does wedding cakes, they are more likely to send them the link to your website because the first page they're going to see is photos of some of the wedding cakes you did and a big bold tagline that says, order your wedding cake today. The second thing is your value proposition must be clear. Your value proposition, simple put, is what makes you different from your competitors. You do not want to be the same as your competitors. I've showed you how to position yourself, how to meet the unmet needs. Now, your value proposition should show on your landing page. Order your cake today. Now, what's unique about you? You can't say we are cheaper. Well, your competitors can be cheaper too. We are faster. Well, faster, people are throwing that around, but it's not enough. They can become faster too. So what's going to be so difficult for your competitors to duplicate? That becomes your value proposition. It could be in the way you do your process. You've done something creative about it. It could be because of the collections that you have. So instead of cake alone, you're able to add different facets to it. The way you package it, the design that comes with your boxes, etc., etc. You've got your own way, your own feel, and on top of that, maybe it comes with a recommended playlist. You know, from maybe you've partnered with an Audible company or something like that that provides that. So when people are buying cakes, they buy some nice licenses to some great artists or something like that. So really, what's your value proposition? And be clear. Order your cake today and get the right musicians to attend your event. So people ordering your cake, or perhaps also go ahead and quickly have someone, they have an add-on package that gets that. So what's unique about your process? What's unique about your additional offering? Don't just say faster. Don't just say cheaper. So this is a landing page. They come in different forms, and hopefully with our interactions, you'll get to see more. By simply a page that shows you the bold heading, the crowdfunding loan platform of choice for small and medium business owners. So already, if you own a large business here, you're going to realize this is not for you. That's as precise as we want it to be. This site is for small and medium business owners. We are clear to let you know that it's a crowdfunding loan platform. Then we connect loan investors with registered small and medium business owners in their community that are investment ready for scaling up. What's unique here is that you get connected to the people within your community. This could further be optimized, by the way, where you can go ahead and target. But the reason why we left it here is because we did the segmenting and we wanted to have a segment that caters across two segments and makes a broader market, a broader target market, so that we can be profitable. So that's how you should always find a way. How do I become specific in my unique value proposition? And how am I precise about who this site is for? You can see there's some menus over there, and sometimes landing pages may not have menus. Sometimes it can just be one site that does everything. But sometimes it may just be that on the top. But this entire page must just be able to say invest, pitch. If you are to go down this site when we put it out there completely, because we've been having some traction coming and there are people interested in this fully going out now, you get to see that it's just this call to action. When you come to this site, it's either you're investing or you're pitching, and it's done. Let me move on because of time. Website footprint. So, have any one of you have ever heard of a digital footprint? A digital footprint, this is the footprint you leave behind. And many businesses today don't build a footprint. If we said certain businesses won't find, and we realize that, and we've been on a serious campaign to rebuild. We initially built some footprint for ML Consulting, but when we rebranded and began to scale higher, we've begun to do the same process again so that we recreate what we did. So there's a way to do that. Among them, you write blogs. Websites that have got blogs get found online more organically than those that don't have a blog. Because when people go online, they're going to say something like 5 ways to do business. And if you wrote a blog on that with the keywords in your headline, you're likely to appear at the top. But a website that doesn't have a blog page is going to miss such. Remember, positioning is about organic reach before you start bringing in traffic and marketing to bring traffic to your website. So the blogs that you write must have key headlines, or sometimes get to feature famous people, so that when they're searching those famous people online, your website may pop up. Today, when you search my name, you're going to see different websites where I feature. Mapalo Lukashi, you're going to see site stuff by Lusaka, stuff by this and by that. That's my personal footprint. So you must begin to have feature rates into blogs. So it can be your blogs, or you have your website mentioned on other people's blogs. You'll get more organic reach. Let me also just get the second one in. Have a responsive site. A responsive site is a site that's easy to load both on phone, tab, on laptops. It's a site that must be easy to view on different platforms. That's what is known as a responsive site. This might seem like a bit to take in, but as you go through this, it will become easier. Have a fast loading site. The study is done that if your site takes more than 1 to 3 seconds to load, you should lose over 48% of the potential client that was going to go on your site. If that goes from the 3 seconds to a minute, you've lost way over, is it 70+% approximately there. And if it takes 1 to 3 minutes, you lose about 99% of the people that were going to your site. Now, for you to be able to do a fast loading website, you need to minimize the plugins on your website. You need to find a way of compressing the images, the videos, and just uploading smaller sizes. Because the smaller the bytes or the MBs of what's on your site, the faster your website will load. Many people have got great sites, and I've seen this with ZRA. They have good graphics, but terrible loading speeds. It means that they've got a super heavy website, and if they were not government, probably we wouldn't be using them. And I hope anyone who listens from there is going to go and make sure that they improve that. Post content to LinkedIn and social media. Okay, so it means that we did this when we were at Vodafone. We used to be able to take the article on the site, the Jump platform site, and we used to go put it up on our Facebook pages, and we'll share that on different social media pages. So when people were looking at the article, they saw a snippet of it on our Facebook page, they were able to click and go to the site. So sometimes make sure that you share articles or blogs that you're doing on your site, and you have more organic reach, not needing to pay any money. People will be clicking to your site as they see interest. There are actually certain businesses that have marketed greatly by just writing the best articles. I could go on examples, but time won't allow me. I think I moved to the end, so I skipped a few things. Okay, the third thing is how you get your app ranked highly on Store. There are a few things. First, you need to drive review engagement. This is the topmost thing. If you go and analyze apps, because on Play Store, applications are placed based on categories for the most part. Now, if your site has got the most number of reviews, it will likely receive more engagement. And sometimes this is built according to region. For example, for me in Zambia, when I go to Play Store and I'm looking for certain applications, Airtel Money within Zambia region will come up. And today I was also doing an analysis of which one is ranking first within social. I just type in social and those particular apps came up. And most of the apps that have got the highest reviews get ranked highly. And guess this, it's not just reviews, it's positive reviews. If you want to be in the top ranking of your category, get friends, get people around you to go and give positive reviews. This is a way to bootstrap your application and for you to get organic people downloading it, because then Play Store is going to advertise your app among the featured apps. This is a very good technique. So if you want to go full force in applications, if that's your particular strategy, like I said, make sure you adopt it and go full force in it. Make sure that you get as many reviews. Put up campaigns to get positive reviews. There's sites that you can actually go to and get to pay people just a penny on the dime to review. So this is good for those of you who want super rankings on an application. The more reviews, the more positive reviews, the higher you rank. If your reviews are mostly negative, you don't rank that highly. So get as many positive reviews for you to start ranking high. So for example, if you go on application and you see your competitor has got 120 reviews, just make sure you've got 125 positive reviews. You rank higher than them. The higher than your competitor on the store of positive reviews, the higher you rank. Other things that help with ranking are keywords in the app title, because people will search a certain title like social, and the rankings will come accordingly to that keyword. So make sure that you do not just put your title when you're doing it on Play Store. We happen to own a Play Store license with Google, and we're able to put the name out there for the app. So the keywords must always add the keywords to it. It's a social app, add social. If it's a food app, find a way to put food. The most likely word someone will put in, make sure that your app has got that. So those are the two things that I wanted to share. Then on application optimization, to optimize, this is how you get the fullest benefit from an app. This is how you make sure that your app, the people using your application, don't delete it. I don't know if you've deleted an app before, but I happen to delete quite a number of apps in my lifetime. Well, quite a number. And probably some of you have deleted way more applications. So now you don't want to invest a whole lot of your company's money, whether you're working or not, and have your app deleted. So how do you then optimize your application so that it stays? Remember, application shares on phones, tablets is competitive. So how do you make sure that your app has got a longer shelf life? These are some things. Go global for the first part. When you go global, first you optimize based on location. So you don't just focus on your application hitting a smaller region. You're going to have more shelf life on many more phones if your application targets a global problem. Today, Mark Zuckerberg can be seated in America and he's making money because he's not only feeding America, almost the entire world is on Facebook. If the numbers serve me, or some of you maybe know the numbers right now, the last time I was checking, there was over 3.4 billion people that were, is it 3.4? I'll have to check those stats again, but there's over a billion people that access the Facebook platform today. So sometimes you need to find out, how can I optimize the app to a global platform? Because of time, let me move on. Build a light app. Likewise, like a website, your application should not be too heavy. Be able to upload images that are smaller. There's a lot of platforms online that you can just click and say, compress image. You compress all your images before you upload them. Don't upload an image that is 70 MB. It's going to take your app a long time for it to be able to move to the next page. And people get frustrated and delete it. You know that your application is optimized when people don't even notice that it's running, it's just flowing. Then run a pilot test. Sometimes people lose so many customers and so many revenues because immediately they've done their prototype, they've done their first segment, they take it to the market, then it crashes. You must learn to build what is known as customer advisory groups, a group of people that will test your app. Before we launched Vodafone's mobile providing, the bundle providing in Zambia, we ran an FUT called Friendly User Trial. And we were in that test time, and we were able to utilize, we're able to see how we track the traffic, and that helped because now when we are going out to launch Vodafone out there, we were able to have 50,000 subscribers within the first week of launching, because that was double than initially planned, and we did not have crashes because for the most part we had been preparing for it. So if you're going to do an app, you're going to do a website, try running a pilot test, see its extent. Last but not the least, and I'm going to share very key things here. How do you fast track building your app? I think many of you are interested in this. I'm going to share with you websites you can go to that will help your process of developing an application slower, or make it faster, sorry. You can already see a photo of a place called Flipper. And you can read that saying platform to buy and sell online businesses. I have bought over 4 applications via Flipper, 5 in total. You can buy and resell apps here. As you can see, there's websites, apps, domains, e-commerce stores, content, marketplaces, services. SaaS means software as a service. All these, you'll find people who are selling their digital businesses. Some of these apps are already on Play Store, App Store, and the way you do it is that you bid for it. So what I did when I liked a certain person's app, you're able to contact the person who's put it up, and when you contact them, you are able to ask them and negotiate. And if they allow that, they can change the amount of the platform and you can buy it for that amount. So I'm going to just move quickly because of time. I'm only going to, I hope I can just extend to 10 minutes so that we are done. So we started a bit late. Kindly log in earlier tomorrow so we can start on time. And we'll also do our best to keep our time. So make sure you visit Flippa. You can sign in with them, sign up with them, and you can see the prices. They're so affordable. You can get an app that already has traction, that already has subscribers, downloads. So make sure that you read the particular details. You can find, if you're already in the food business, you can find an app that deals with food. You don't always have to build your own app. Sometimes you just go for an app that's similar to yours, see who's selling it, and buy it. You can buy websites here. You can buy a domain name that's already got traction and the brand built around it. You can buy an e-commerce store and start running it. They'll send you, trust me, it's legit. I got all the code for the apps, everything was sent. The payment methods are PayPal, you pay through PayPal, and they've also got their Flippa system that you can pay on. You got people from different parts of the world. These are others that you can use. There's also what is known as Code Canyon. For those of you that says, okay, I want to do an application, but I don't want to get it from scratch. CodeCanyon.net offers scriptings for applications, for websites, for different particular digital platforms. And all you need to do is find someone who's good at programming to be able to change the script for you, to customize it to the way you want it to be. So you're going to find out, make sure you visit this site and see the options. This is a cheap way. Some of them go from as low as $2 to $19 to $9. Now, if I told you today that you can go buy the entire script for your app at $2, and by next week, if you already have someone who's good at programming or you're good at programming, it's not even too much of complicated. You're going to learn this online on how to be able to modify that. You can have your app set up on Play Store within a space of a month. You don't need to start from scratch and take months. And the good part about it is that you can search for applications that are similar to what you want. And you just modify them a bit, change them with your name. It's very legal and allowed. They sell it for that reason. Flip I've already shared with you. Then there's Thunkable. Thunkable.com allows you to build apps without using code. So if you don't know how to code, you can go to Thunkable. I've built an app with this particular platform that allows UNZA students to be able to go to their SIS platform and log in. So it's just an app I built for fun. I never shared it because I saw someone else within the students platform or sharing on Facebook who does that. It's so easy. With Thunkable, you can be able to build apps that help you be able to take in input data. It's so simple. It uses no code. It just uses this particular, they call them, how do they call them again? It's like you just have to attach them, more like how you do building blocks. And you build your app. It's straightforward. They've got tutorials. You can learn this within 1 week and you can build your app. No need to take months. Let me share with you the last two. This is a screenshot of Code Canyon. It was purchased by Evanto. Those of you who've used Evanto before, it's part of the Evanto marketplace. So you can see there are PHP scripts for websites, WordPress scripts, e-commerce, JavaScripts, mobile. If you want the mobile app script, you can find them. Like Foxtrot, these are the current ones that are there right now. And you can go buy this and just modify it. If you're looking to build an app like Facebook, you can buy very cheap and modify it, and you can have your own app. There are even apps like Zoom that you can buy, and you can become the first person in Zambia to have a video conferencing app. Just giving you an idea. And it doesn't have to take you 7 months. There's also Codeless.cc. Codeless.cc also offers you scripts, though most of these are free. So it's a good place to start from shopping where you can find some free scripts. Look at $0 scripts you can get, and just have a good coding guy. You can even launch 17 apps this year. But don't get confused. Sometimes more is more. Time is moving. Babo.io. Babo.io allows you to build an app without code as well. It's more dynamic than Thunkable. I ask you to visit it. WordPress, you can actually build an application with WordPress. Once you build your WordPress site, there's a WordPress plugin that allows you to convert your WordPress site into a mobile app. That's been the session for today. These are found on Code Canyon. You can see these are different types of apps. There's a Sender app, a Scapper app, and different types of apps. So this has been our session today. I hope you've learned this Flippak. Make sure you visit these platforms, start experiencing them. Oh, I almost left this one out. Monetize your app. You need to, when you get something from a place like Flippak, they'll actually come with integrating you already the AdMob. AdMob is the facility that Google provides that allows you to gain revenues through ads run. And the different types of ads, we can get to talk about this later, ask us a question, but you can also just look this up. AdMob integration into your applications. Thank you so much. If there's any questions, so this has been the e-marketing first training. I hope you love it. If you just enjoyed what you've learned today, please go ahead and share your expressions. The team would like to know how you thought about this. Tomorrow, we're going to send to you an evaluation form where you can be able to give us feedback of what you felt and what can be done better. Before the class, we'll appreciate as many of you that can fill that up. We're going to digitize it and just make it online. But those of you who have enjoyed this, thank you so much for that. So this has been a blend between the International Labour Organization's program known as SIYB and Make Live International's e-commerce strategies by our network of experts. So it's a perfect blend of practical and the works you need to do before you get out there. If you've enjoyed this, I've only seen Chishimba say wonderful session. Monsieur Eleni, thank you so much. It's a very profound thank you. Was this worth your money so far? The menus, the go-to-market in the box, and we've only just got started. Let me see if we can get some more. Okay, so I haven't gotten the monetize your app. Just repeat the last part. Okay, we'll get to do that. Thank you so much, Kaungu. Let's get more feedback. Thank you so much from Felistus as well. Okay, I'm trying to see. I'm wondering where the rest stand. At least if I can get over 50% to respond where you're at this. Remember, this is a training. It's a back and forth feedback. That's what we're going to send that. So let me get to see different. It's a lovely session from Duncan. Thank you. Douglas says great insights, great knowledge from Hezron in a split second. Thank you so much for that compliment. It's glad to know that you're all feeling benefit. Amazing session from Chanju. Thank you from Clarence. Great insight. Thank you so much. As you keep on pouring, let me get to address Kaungu's question about monetization. When you talk about AdMob, some of you have heard it. AdMob is the sister or brother of what is known as AdSense. Now, AdSense works on websites. If you've ever gone to a website and you found them advertising to you, maybe a pop-up came up, or you saw at the corner of the website there's an ad for another company, that's done by AdSense. Now, AdMob is that very thing in a mobile app. When you download an app and you're playing a game and you see an ad pop up in front of you, that is what is known as an interstitial ad. Okay, it's a topic altogether. That's why I didn't get to that. But let me just speak it. You will rewind this when you send you the recording. There's what's known as an interstitial app. It's what pops up when you're playing a game. Maybe you fail and it pops up. They advertise to you Barclays, Zanaco, etc. Then there's what is known as video apps. All that are done within AdMob. Once you put in the script, it's just a script you need to attach into the application. So if you have someone who's programming, they'll just add that script. So when you have your site, your Google Play Store, Just a minute, sorry, let me reshare the screen where we were, and we conclude on the session. No, this is the one we've already done. Okay, great. So AdMob integration is that particular way of being able to make money through ads. And the way you make money is that for every people that view your ads, Google will be able to pay you. So they will either pay you based per click on the ad, or you can get paid based on views. So there are options that you get with AdMob. So some people prefer to go in views. So if views, it means you have to have more people. Others choose to get paid per click on the ads. So the people who are putting the ads pay money to Google, and Google shares that particular revenue with you. So if you want to do a free app, you might want to use ads as a way of monetization. If you need more detail, you contact us. If you paid within that 24 hours region, we'll be able to give you some feedback and help you out. But the value is too great. Even though you didn't pay, you can contact us, but then we have that too limited for the extra service of setting up and guiding you. That's too limited to those who paid within the 24 hours, as we had communicated within the webinar. But I believe the value is too great, and you could always just have, we can always have for you specifically, not at the actual price. That's how we can encourage those of you that would like to do that. So that said, I don't know, Kawang, if that gives you some level of insight, so we can also, I don't know how that sounds for you. Okay, Kawang says present 24 hours. We'll definitely keep that answer. Great. Thank you, Loretta, for the feedback as well. Definitely go through the recorded session. So we are on again tomorrow 20. Let's log in earlier. If there's any questions you have for us, feel free to reach us through our Make Live business WhatsApp line, and so that we can prepare. So tomorrow, in your own free time, feel free to do the assessment we'll send to you. For our contact details, you can go to us via you can call us through our line 0957 999 You can go at info, you can send a mail to info@makelifeint.com or mapalo@makelifeint.com, and I'll be able to respond to you personally. Thank you so much. You've been a great audience. But like all good things, sometimes you need to know when to come to an end. So tomorrow we look at marketing. You can go ahead and do those activities in your own free time we did for today, and also have a chance to look at tomorrow's session so that it will be easier for you to understand. So that's a good night to all, and see you tomorrow. Those of you asking about the recordings, we'll send them to your mails. You're welcome. Thank you so much.